What's up guys, Perry from Rockville here, and today I'm going to teach you how to set up your RWM4200VH VHF wireless handheld microphone system. This is perfect for any live performances, DJ events, conferences, karaoke, and much more. So as you can see, you get the 4-channel receiver itself, 4 wireless microphones, a 9-volt battery for each microphone, 2 antennas for optimal microphone use, a 1/4-inch cable, and a power supply. The receiver is also 1U rack mountable, which means you can easily place it into any rack mount or rack bag by screwing it in using these 4 corners here. So the first thing we can do to set up our receiver is take the 2 included antennas and plug them into the back of the receiver where it says antenna 1 and 2 and antenna 3 and 4. This will make sure that the receiver picks up the microphones 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then we can raise the antennas to make sure the receiver is picking up the signal coming from our microphones. So next we can go ahead and set up our microphones. To do that, we'll just take one of our microphones and unscrew this end cap here to reveal the battery compartment. So now you're going to want to take one of the included 9-volt batteries and plug it into the microphone by connecting the positive and negative connectors with the positive and negative connectors on the microphone. So now we can take our end cap and screw it back onto the microphone. So now we're just going to want to do the same thing with our other microphones. You'll also notice that each microphone has a specific frequency listed. This will signify which microphone goes to which channel, because each channel on the front of the receiver has its own designated frequency. So you'll just want to be sure that the frequency shown on each microphone matches with one of the channels on our receiver. So now we can go ahead and turn on the receiver, and once we do that, you'll see the blue LCD displays light up for each channel. So we'll want to connect our receiver to a mixer or powered speaker in order to use the microphone. First, let me show you the powered speaker setup. Alright, so here I have the BPA-8 powered speaker that I'm going to use to connect my RWM4200VH. To do this, I'm going to use the included 1/4-inch cable. I'm going to take one end and plug it into the 1/4-inch mix output on the back of the receiver. Then I'm going to take the other end and plug it into the 1/4-inch microphone input on our powered speaker. So now we're going to go ahead and raise the channel volume here on our speaker. Then we'll raise the volumes for each microphone we're using on our receiver. Now on your microphone, you'll notice that each one comes with its own on and off switch and an on and mute switch. So we'll want to turn it from off to on to power the microphone, and then we'll want to turn it from mute to the on position in order to use it. Now if we wanted to juice up our microphone even further, we can loosen this end cap here, which reveals the gain knob that we can use to add more volume to our microphone. So if I turn my microphone on, you should be able to hear my voice coming out of the speaker. So once we have our microphones all up and running, we can use the volume knobs on the front of the receiver to mix the volume of each microphone to our liking. Now the great thing about using a wireless microphone system like this is that we don't have to worry about any microphone cables whatsoever, which gives us the freedom to move around while using the microphones. Another really cool thing is that with each microphone, we can go as far as 100 to 200 feet indoors and 65 to 165 feet outdoors away from the receiver and still be able to hear our voice coming out of the speaker. Now as I mentioned before, we can set up our receiver to a powered mixer for a bigger setup. So let me show you that next. Alright, so here I have my powered mixer and my 2 passive speakers that I'm going to use to connect my RWM4200VH. So just like in our last setup, we can use the included 1/4-inch cable to connect our receiver to one of our channels on our mixer. However, we can use the channels 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 outputs on the back of the receiver to connect to 2 separate channels on our mixer for more control over our sound. So for this setup, I'm going to need 2 XLR cables. I'm going to take my female ends and plug them into the channels 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 XLR outputs on the back of the receiver. Then I'll take the male ends and plug them into 2 channels on our mixer. Today I'll use channels 1 and 2. So now I'll go ahead and turn on our mixer. So now I'm going to want to raise the channel volumes on our receiver. Then I'll want to raise the gain knobs as well as the faders on the channels we're using on our mixer. And to hear everything coming out of our speakers, I'll raise the main left and right faders on our mixer as well. So if I turn on microphone 1, you should hear me coming out of both speakers. And if I do the same for microphone 3, you should be hearing me coming out of the speakers as well. So this would be a great setup if you had groups of people using these microphones, with one group using microphones 1 and 2, and the other group using microphones 3 and 4 right after. So you can control the summed volume of the first 2 microphones with one channel, and as soon as that group is done, you can lower that volume and bring up the volume for the next 2 microphones right after. And of course you can leave the faders up for both channels so that we can use all 4 microphones at once. But remember, you can control the volume volumes of each microphone using the knobs on the front of the receiver. Also with this setup, we can use the features of the mixer like the built-in EQs and effects to manipulate the sound of each group of microphones. So I hope this showed you guys how easy it is to set up your RWM4200VH VHF wireless handheld microphone system. But of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support team through phone or email. As always guys, I'm Perry from Rockville, and I'll see you next time.